On behalf of NASRA Special Events, we welcome you to the Virtual World Center of Racing. Tonight is the final preliminary in the 2023 inaugural King of Daytona preparations for the NASRA 250 next Thursday night, next Thursday night right here from Daytona. Good evening, I am Wesley Outland. Brady LaBeouf will be alongside on color commentary. Cody Knott is working on our production behind the scenes. We are mere moments away for the field to grid in what will be the final preliminary of the evening. This will be 125 miles, 50 laps, shades of the similarity of what we saw last Thursday night, if you will, in Duel 1. Duel 2 will be the same. 50 laps, fixed setup, fuel 100%. Course, time of day in the afternoon conditions. 3 attempts at a green-white checker for overtime if need be. All of this hangs in the balance as we await for these drivers from the outside row. Row number 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That is the even numbers. The race one last Thursday was the odd numbers. This is your even number. But remember, the front row was set by qualifying 2 weeks ago. And, of course, the winner of this duel will start outside row number 2 in the 4th position, as, of course, Rhett Tucker won race 1 last Thursday night. 6 minutes left on the countdown clock. The field will be gridding soon. I will be joined by Brady LaBeouf very soon as well. And we'll be ready to go for racing. Again, here tonight at Daytona, 125 miles is the distance, 50 laps. And we'll wait to see what these guys do here as we'll be ready to obviously, Duel 1. Let's recap Duel 1 last Thursday night. Kind of quiet. Okay, let's just be honest, 30, 40 laps. Things were really good. And then they finally came down to 10 laps to go. And then it all went chaotic from there, downhill from there. I think there were 2 attempts at an overtime. And eventually, of course, Rhett Tucker. No, I'm sorry. There was 1 attempt at an overtime. And Rhett Tucker, again, the Floridian originally from Memphis, Tennessee, was able to get the win. What will happen tonight as these drivers are getting into their final position to go here? I think we're a little bit behind schedule than what we were planning on being. That's all good, though, as obviously this is a very fast race, 50 laps, 125 miles, and we'll get ready to give you the lineup here very soon, as right now I think some final tweaks are being done. Any final preparations on work being made need to be done right now. Hey, by the way, don't forget, this is part of NASRA Special Events on the NASRA 360 Racing Network, and this is the King of Daytona, the inaugural King of Daytona. Who will be the winner of this race? Remember, it all culminates next Thursday night right here, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on the NASRA 360 Racing Network, as the inaugural King of Daytona will be crowned. The field will be set after tonight. Now, Brady LaBeouf will let everybody know that there is opportunity for drivers. If you got to pay. You got to pay, I think, qualifying and for your entry fee for a dual race if you've not got signed in. We want to have a 43 truck field, but for the most part, the entire field will be set after tonight for the inside and the outside rows. So right now, seeing a couple of trucks just kind of making their way down pit lane. I think they're going to have a few more minutes of practice. So I wait Brady LaBeouf. He'll be joining us in the booth soon. And all of this is going on here as we prepare for, again, Duel 2 tonight. Thanks for everybody joining us. Hit that like and share. NASRA Racing on Facebook, X, and Instagram. By the way, X is now Twitter, what used to be known as Twitter. And then, of course, NASRA Racing on social media. A lot of cool things going on. The Cop Series is in action tomorrow night. Obviously, they got their race going on. The playoffs, round 1, just got fired up for the, obviously, on deck for, I'm sorry, the playoffs on deck this upcoming Monday after we just finished up at Daytona on Monday night. So that was really, really cool. Seems like we've been at Daytona for a while, Cody, ain't we? Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Back here again. Thursday night, Daytona road course last week. So, yeah, 2 weeks in a row, it seems like we've been at Daytona. So if you're a fan of super speedway racing, like the World Center of Racing, we have definitely had it, no doubt. Hey, listen, let's take a quick break. We'll step away. When we come back, no, we're not. Let's bring in the third member or the second member of our broadcast crew. Of course, joining Cody Knott on production, the man behind NASRA and this inaugural Kings of Daytona, Brady LaBeouf. How you doing, sir? Welcome in.
Oh, I'm doing great, Wesley. Wesley, I'm sorry about that. We just had to clear up a little driver meeting questions,
good.
and these guys about a little less than 2 minutes to rock and roll for this second duel race.
I say this humbly. You wear a lot of hats.
I do. I just try to make sure everybody's where they need to be.
Well, everybody is getting into place. It looks like about 90 seconds remaining as the drivers' meeting has concluded. So let everybody know, Brady, how this came about. Where did NASRA special events come to fruition, and what's your thoughts of it now as we move into the big show next Thursday night?
Yeah, I mean, we've always, tried to put on, different races, holiday races and whatnot. It's always kind of been called special events. I think we might change the name to Speed Weeks because usually in our other leagues, we typically do these kind of races for our other two leagues. And it seems to be, a real popular, demand by the drivers that run at NASRA. So we just thought that we would give it a, trial run and see if we can develop a series, maybe doing it. So we're gonna try it again and see if people are kind of into it. And instead of just waiting for the Daytona 500 to do this kind of stuff, we're just gonna do it year round.
And of course, I know the plan was we were chatting about it. I know you said it on Monday night when we unveiled the playoffs for the top 20 for the NASRA Sim Racer Hub Truck Series. Obviously, Daytona, the big race is next Thursday. And then in addition to that, it looks like you're going to do Talladega. You might do Indianapolis. You might do Le Mans. You want to look at big races that are going on to see what the possibilities are to try to entice and build a if you will, reference of getting more new talent to join us as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anybody, that does these kind of races, they do it because they want to see the big numbers. They want to see 40, 50, 60 guys show up. I've been a part of guys running, 60 trucks in a race. I'm not a big fan of it. So,
Sure.
I would cap it off at 43 no matter what, maybe 45 at the most. But somewhere in that area, I just think that it becomes too much when you got 60 guys to deal with. But, hey, there might be some people that have to go home. That's just part of it.
Yeah, it will be very exciting to watch for sure as we get all these guys gridded here in just a moment. Again, Brady LaBeouf joining us alongside. Thank you to Michael McKinnon for joining us last week. And, of course, it all culminates again to next Thursday night for the big show here at the virtual World Center of Racing. All right, Duel 2 for the Kings of Daytona. Let's give you the starting lineup as the field is behind the pace truck, and we're ready. Well, Rhett Tucker and Aiden Kirk are on the front row, but remember, Rhett Tucker won last Thursday night. So, Brady, can we explain that? Why is Rhett Tucker running again twice?
So, because of the hurricane in Florida and the numbers for the event, we're allowing the guys to run both duels just this time, and we're going to take their highest finish of each duel, and then we're going to take the average finish to set the final lineup for next week. So we're just allowing guys to run both weeks. If we had the numbers, I know there was a hurricane in Florida last week, so we there was a lot of guys that couldn't run last week, guys like Curtis Rogers, so Donnie Lyons, all those guys out there. So we're giving them 2 races to practice for the final event.
Okay, that explains it real quickly. Row 1, Rhett Tucker, Aiden Kirk. Row 2, we'll find Justin Wine and Curtis Rogers, as we mentioned, missed the last week because of the hurricane. Christopher Blanchard, winner at Daytona, by the way, Monday night. Torrey Thompson on the outside. Row 4, we'll find Jacob Reeves and Hunter Parsons. In your top 10, Brady will find Steve Barnett and Andrew McGronigal in the 94.
Yeah, and of course it shows me, but I'm race controlling also, so I'm not in the 11th spot. We'll give that one to Brandon Bullock in the number 17 for Warrior Racing Esports. Brian Chu will start 12, and at number 51 for Sick With It Motorsports. Kerry Tribute in that 7 machine for Highline Racing, and then Huck Wigginton, and then Tony Pekelican will be in that number 13, the caboose. I will, and I think Ed Osborne was supposed to race tonight, but he may have gotten called out to work.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's see what happens here as these drivers are getting into position. Cody Knott, if you can, message me in SDK the time and scoring if you have it, sir, as the field is getting set for 125 miles. It's 50 laps. This is a 50-lap race, as we mentioned, and this should be exciting and fun. Ladies and gentlemen, the pace truck will be ready to come down the front straightaway into the tri-oval. Rhett Tucker, winner last Thursday in Duel 1. Will he have something up his sleeve to be better in Duel number 2 tonight? We'll find out as we're ready. Final preliminary in the inaugural. Let's see what happens as the field takes the green. Duel 2 underway. Brady LaBeouf, and quickly Rhett Tucker is up to the lead. Blanchard will follow as they work in 1 and 2.
Absolutely. That inside line, Wesley, is very organized. They're going to pull away. 4th place, Steve Barnett's going to clear the top side. We'll see if he goes up. He will go up and make a move to that outside lane. He might come back down. We'll have to see. No, he's going to stay out there, think better of it on the block on Brian Chu. But yes, that inside line is very organized early on.
Getting everything started here quickly into turn number 3 up on the top side. Barnett and some other trucks quickly trying to get something organized, but on the bottom, shades of what we saw last Thursday night. Rhett Tucker comes to the line. Lap 1, 49 to go. And honestly, I'm going to be honest here, Brady. I think the strategy is going to be the exact same thing that we saw last Thursday. And that's probably the smart thing to do.
Well, yeah, when you got 16 drivers, I believe we had, 16, 17 last week. So
Yep.
Looking like a 32-man show, because we've had guys like Justin Lumpkin that wasn't able to show up for either one. So he'll still be in the big race, paying the penalty for that. But start to the rear of the field also. But we'll have, probably, 28 to 30 guys next week. So you'll probably see another calm race. We actually saw a calm race last week, as look, they're already looking to go, Hunter Porson's looking to go 3 wide right there.
If you remember last Thursday night, they went about 43 laps, if I think so correctly. Michael McKinnon was on the call with me in the booth, Brady, and they went 43 laps until that caution came out. 2 times there were green flag pit stops, and the strategy was very, very crazy. And I think right now we're seeing a lot more chaotic racing than what we saw in Duel 1. And let's be honest here, this is Duel 2. This is your last hooligan race to make it into the big race next Thursday night.
Oh, absolutely. And, it's 50 laps, 100% fuel. So they could probably go about 32 to 33 laps on a tank of fuel. So they're going to run, like this, and they're already getting double file and getting a little bit of racy. But, I expect it to be almost the same thing. These guys are not really going to push too hard, and just kind of, see what line has the momentum, kind of make some moves, kind of set up for the ending as you will. But should be a very clean race with these guys.
Trying to keep up with all the action that's going on now as we watch these guys working their way around the racetrack. It's Tucker, the leader. Blanchard will follow. On the outside, up on the top, Aiden Kirk from Texas. Gets a little punt there for a moment from Meg Ronigal. Meg Ronigal will now drift up into that battle as they come back off the corner out of turn number 4. Back to the start-finish line. Look at this, Kirk on the outside. Rhett Tucker will follow. They go back to the line, and already 4 laps in of 50. Back to turn number 1, and they are already getting antsy again, looking for the lead in the banking, and Kirk will take it to the top, Brady into the corner.
Absolutely. And wow. That's a great move by Kirk right there. And Bronigal is going to push up and maybe try to block that Highline Racing team right there. You see the 1500 Porsons Steve Barnett and Kerry Tribute all working together, and they're going to push the momentum down the back straightaway. 3 wide right there, and Hunter Porson's actually going to be cleared, so he can go all the way to second line and the inside line if he wanted to, but he's going to stay with his teammates for right now.
Yeah, we're watching all of this happening around the back stretch. Here they come back to the front straightaway now. Getting organized one more time. And Rhett Tucker will now allow Parsons to go to the lead on the outside lane. So for the second lap now, it started with Kirk. Parsons will now get the bravery to try to go to the top and make a mount on Rhett Tucker. Meg Ronigal has now gone to the bottom of the racetrack behind Tucker, and they work off too.
Absolutely, and you see him, getting a little bit. Here comes Chris Blanchard. He's going to probably help that inside line right there. They're going to stack him back up here. Some good momentum, though, by Hunter Parsons and Steve Barnett on the outside line. And Chris Blanchard's going to go up to the top, Wesley, and help them out.
Working up the back stop off of turn 4. Back off through the tribal. Another lap on the board. Big thanks to Cody Knott giving you the sights and sounds of this race on the NASRA 360 Racing Network. Don't forget about the Cop Series tomorrow night. The playoffs fire up for Season 2 of the trucks. We're going to be at Charlotte Monday. And right now, checking all this. And by the way, Brady, if you hear the sound of the football game in the background, the 104th NFL kickoff season's underway. And yes, I am working for NASRA. I'm doing my job. But I am watching a tied game between the Chiefs and the Lions right now as well. So,
absolutely.
7-7.
If anybody's wondering, yep, it's tied game, 7-7.
3 wide. Oh!
Yeah.
Was that Parsons jumping out of line? It was. Put Rhett Tucker in the middle. Meg Ronigal to the bottom. Boy, that was some brave moves to be just not even 10 laps into this race. Brady, I thought that would be something you'd see with about 10 to go, not before lap 10.
Right, and it's almost like, hey, Rhett won last week. Hunter, has a statement that he wants to put out, so he put him 3 wide. Steve Barnett, you got to have a teammate behind you, or a guy that's willing to work with you, because that move only happens if he has Steve Barnett behind him, and Steve Barnett stuck with him, and now Hunter's actually going to leave him and go down to the inside lane. I guess, in this case, you kind of want as we see Kurt get loose right there in the corner. Wow, that was a great save by them, and a great job by Rhett Tucker of allowing him to save it so that wasn't a wreck right there, Wesley. That was close.
Yeah, that was scary for Kirk, and then, of course, Kerry Tribute quickly on the binders as well as Bull, like you were saying.
Yeah, usually, when you see that, now the inside line is very disorganized, so Hunter's going to kind of fall back to, it looks like, 5th place. But you almost want to have that buddy, right, to kind of control both lanes, control the draft. So that's why I guess Hunter probably dropped down in that aspect to leave Steve, so that he can kind of control the momentum of that inside lane.
Yeah, very well said. Of course, Brady LaBeouf, no stranger to also racing. You're not running in this series, though. You're kind of officiating this chaos and mayhem that is the NASRA Speed Weeks. Am I correct, Brady?
Oh, for the time being, right? We got to build it, and I feel like, I can't have fun until, we get where we want to be with it. Obviously, we don't really have any expectations going into it. It's just, the growing pains, right? We always say that when we come out with something new, it's going through the growing pains. So
Sure.
Until we get it to where it needs to be, or where I feel like it's accomplished, then I might, join here and let you guys handle this announcing gig.
It's always great having Brady LaBeouf joining us in the booth as always again, and it's an honor for me to be able to be play-by-play man for a lot of these leagues. Thanks to Cody Knott as well for what they're doing. TJ Moore, race director, all of this going on now for NASRA as they work their way in the corner down into turn number 3. This is going to be 40 laps to go now when they come to the stripe. Lap 10 complete. Barnett now the new leader. Puts the 42 in front of Blanchard. Blanchard, by the way, winner on Monday night. Brady, 10 laps in. You think Blanchard could double down and use his strategy from the big win Monday?
Oh, absolutely. Look, Chris Blanchard's no stranger to this type of racing. If you got a super speedway league out there, you're probably going to see that number 9 Blanchard's towing truck out there. But props to Chris. He's a big NASRA supporter. So yeah, anytime we do this, as soon as we announced it, I think he was one of the first drivers to sign up for it. So He loves this type of racing. He does great at it. So, and as you've seen there Monday, I feel bad for him. He didn't make
Yeah.
the minimum start requirement Monday, so he couldn't race his way into the playoffs. So he wanted a medical waiver Monday. I wish we could have gave it to him, but he'll just have to come back next season and do it all over again.
And very surprised, Brady, that Adam Newbert, defending champion, will not even be ready to defend that crown next Monday night either.
Yeah, that's one of the big stories that we've been following along in that series all season long. Life takes over, life happens, but don't be surprised to not see Adam Newbert back season 3 and go and make a playoff run and possibly win season 3 championship. So we wish him well and can't wait to have him back on the track with us.
Yeah, whatever Adam Newbert's going through, man, he's definitely in my thoughts and prayers, and I do think the world of him. He's one of those people, Brady, that I've actually got to meet in person and spend time with. Matter of fact, he called races with me at Toccoa, Georgia. So definitely, we pick up the action. 12 of 50. Obviously, that strategy of green flag pit stops will be coming here in about the next 10 or 15 laps, I'm thinking, when the pit window opens before halfway. And we have Barnett leading the cavalry. And honestly, it is a conga line of speed, Brady LaBeouf, down the super stretch. Nobody is jumping out of line. Everybody is nose to tail behind the tailgates of one another, pushing into turn number 3.
Yeah, and this is typical. You see this in real life. You see this, also in iRacing. It's just, they're getting ready for what's to come, I guess you should say. Let's get through maybe the pit stop, because the pit window's actually going to open up here within the next 5 laps, I believe.
Yep.
So hey, let's make our pit stops, and then it's game on from that point. Everybody's trying to find their friends and find their teammates, because you got to have buddies whenever you go down pit road at here and places like Talladega. So you don't want to be that person by yourself, going down pit road, because they'll just fly right by you. So I believe that's what you're seeing right now is, hey, let's get through this pit stop and then it's game on.
Hey, Brady, I'm sorry. I was busy working another event last night, but did I notice that you're bringing back the Xfinity Series on Wednesday? How did that go last night?
Oh, well, actually, shout out to Racers Elite. As we see a wreck right there.
Trouble, Kerry Tribune turned into the fence at the safer barrier. It looked like maybe also Wigginton might have got a piece of it. Kirk is down below the bottom of the apron. Caution is out. Not even on lap 14. We already have a caution here, Brady. We just saw this happen in the tri-oval. Wow.
Yeah, we're trying to see if the 94 of Andrew McGonigal.
I was thinking McGonigal slipped. Yeah.
Yeah. And seeing what actually happened between him and Kerry Tribute here.
Replays coming, as always, brought to you by Pulse Poppers Fishing Lures. And we'll find out here. Caution quickly out. Well, so much Brady LaBeouf for green flag pit stops. That's out the window. Everybody's coming down the pit road. You know this, my friend.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The pit window should be there, Wesley. They should be able to save some fuel. So yeah, they should be able to make it here. It looks like Andrew McGonigal came down a side draft on the 7, which you typically see, and it looks like it just was a side draft going wrong. He gets into the 7 of Kerry Tribute right here.
So the yellow flag coming out here. We're waiting for Cody Knott to get us a replay for what happened to put us under the yellow flag for the first time. And as I said, that pit road is open. Here comes the entire cavalry storming onto pit road. And it is about to be a flurry of activity, 4 tires and fuel. And I'll be honest here, Brady, I still think we're going to have to go another pit stop before the end of this thing, though.
It's going to be tough. Let's see, 35 laps to go. I think you might see some guys top off too, Wesley. You might see them come back down pit road and top off. Yeah, because I mean, you still got 35 laps to go, and if you come and top off, possibly you can make it.
We'll see. We'll see. There's the strategy. Very, 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 very bold strategy there, Brady. We'll see if it pays off. Hey, but by the way, before the caution happened, you were talking about Racers Elite in this Xfinity series on Wednesday night. What's the more details on that?
Yeah, so I had the owner Andrew with Racers Elite, a league that I've been talking to. We go back and forth. You know, when you're a league owner, you share information with everybody, and
Sure.
we've been talking. And their broadcaster, I don't know his last name, but I know his first name, Tony, had passed away night before last. So he
Oh,
reached
wow.
out to me. Um, we ended up broadcasting their Xfinity Wednesday night league for them to make sure they had a show, and we ended up donating the money back to the family. So
Wow.
yeah, that was not our league last night. We ran it on our platform for those guys, but it was just to help out a friend.
That's awesome. I'm sorry to hear about the passing of one of our iRacing brethren in the broadcast booth, but definitely very humbled and honored that NASRA Racing was able to step up and help people in need for sure. All right, it took some time, but Cody Knott finally found a replay of what happened here. Okay, they are still working on this in the production truck, so everybody stand by, work with us. We're trying to find a way to get it to work before we do go back to the restart. But honestly, I'm with you, Brady. I think Meg Ronigal got down low. He made contact, but I believe carried Tribune. Tribune was trying to make a move on the outside, and then they both slam into the safer barrier. And everybody done a great job of picking up to avoid missing for sure, not to get collected.
Oh, absolutely, a great job by the field. It could have been a lot worse than what it was,
Yes.
but it was just these guys here, they and everybody does it, including myself. You have to get on somebody's quarter panel, and you have to get close to them because you want to slow that momentum down so that you can break away and keep the momentum on your lane. And that's Andrew just pulled out a line right there. He was trying to make some headway on that outside lane, and it's just a side draft going wrong. So he will get the EOL penalty for that, and he'll be starting in the back. But his race is not over.
So we're under the yellow flag here. This is, again, very different than what we saw, obviously, last Thursday night. We went almost 43 laps before we saw the caution come out. Now we've had a yellow flag right in the opening 15 laps of this. Green flag pit stops have happened. And we'll settle them in here. Jacob Reeves is now the man up in the front spot, of course, from the Georgia area. Rome, Georgia. Rome Speedway, one of the popular dirt racetracks by the Swims family. I've announced that many times at Dixie and Rome. And that's the driver for Mission 1 Esports and the McConey Setup Shops, number 57. He leads the way. Barnett is in second. Driver out of Brighton, Michigan for Highline Racing, the Hillbilly Custom Bait Century, makes up the front row. And again, Brady, we mentioned this as we come back to restart in the Geico restart zone. Don't count out Chris Blanchard. He loves super speedway racing. And if there's anybody that's carrying momentum, two drivers, row two, back to green, Chris Blanchard, Rhett Tucker, back underway.
Absolutely, and like you said, Jacob Reeves repping Mission 1 Esports. He's actually going to run for our team full time on Mondays next season for season 3. So look for Jacob. Yeah, you're going to see the high side with Steve Barnett and Rhett Tucker. They're going to get a full head of steam, Wesley. We'll see if they come down on the inside lane.
All right, watching this working down the back stretch now. Into turn number 3. Watch them here going up the banking. Barnett. Now remember, these trucks, they got to, just like the real trucks on the super speedways, they got to take about a lap or so or two before finally get up to full speed. And Brady, we noticed last week that caused calamity on a restart to set up overtime on Monday.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, it's go time now. I believe with 33, 32 laps,
Yep.
32 laps to go. Man, it's going to be close, but I tell you this right now, Wesley, if it's close, I do not want to be Steve Barnett right now, or Rhett Tucker. I want to be the guy in second and third that's half throttle, 75%, using a draft to pull me down the back straightaway, because that's how you save fuel around here. And when you're Steve Barnett and Rhett Tucker, you're pedal down 100% using fuel, the gas pedal, and they're burning every little bit of those 33 laps that they're going to need to finish this thing. So if I'm Jacob, I'm saying, no, Steve, don't go to the high side. Stay below. Let me save some fuel.
Through the tribal, back into corner number 1, up the banking. And turn number 1 and 2. Down to the inside. That's Reeves. Reeves with Blanchard. Barnett with Tucker. And waiting patiently in the top 5 is, of course, I'm trying to figure out that guy's name, how to say it. Tony Placania, I think it is. How you say it, Brady? Placania? Placenica?
Well, Placinia. We'll just say Tony for this week, and we'll get
Tony
with Tony.
P.
Yeah, Tony P. We'll get with him before next Thursday and figure out how to say his last name.
If my broadcast school is correct with pronunciations, I want to say it's Tony Placenica or Placenica. So that's what I'm going to say, Placenica. But I could be wrong. So if that's abbreviating it, Placenica or Placenica, Placanica. So we'll find out. I have 3. One of them are correct, Brady. I just don't know which one it is. Oh. Right now, it is still Blanchard now going back to the lead. The 16 inside, outside. Actually, that's the number 9. Chris Blanchard, same truck that he won on Monday. Well, I tell you what, Brady, getting ready to come to 30 to go now as the field storms off into turn 1. But what a field of sweet 20 drivers we've got for the playoffs. That Charlotte coming up on Monday, man. That's going to be fun. And then you've got that playoff championship within the championship, which I think is very creative.
Yeah, absolutely. So for our playoffs, we actually extended. We do a little bit different than NASCAR. Instead of 16, we take the top 20, and then we go through the round of 14, 10, and then we actually take championship 6 instead of 4. So we're doing a little bit things different than the usual thing, and it's as you see, guys, look, they're going to top off. It looks like that's Rhett Tucker
Wow.
Esport. I actually think that's a good move if they can't make it. But yeah, so but everybody that doesn't make the playoffs, Wesley, 21st to 43rd, that's still bought into the championship, they actually run a second tier playoff. And
right.
so they have something to race for. So it's not like they don't have to come back and finish the last 8 weeks with us. So it's going to be real interesting how it plays out. And we're looking to, have everybody continue to show up throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it's phenomenal that you guys are taking the initiative to give these guys some type of an opportunity, because here's the deal. 9 times out of 10, if you don't make the playoffs, your car counts drop. People don't care anymore. So the thing is you got to find a way to entice them and make them still want to be a part of the series. And I think you guys have done that for sure. Green flag pit stops just took place with Tucker, Tony P, and Meg Ronigal, and there they are. The smart thing is, Brady, as they are coming to halfway next time, buying a couple of more laps, is though they are away from the pack, they are right there with each other. 3 trucks can drive better than 1 by themselves.
Absolutely. And I found out Tony's last name. It's Placanica.
Tony Placanica. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Tony Placanica, Meg Ronigal, and Rhett Tucker all on pit road. And remember, Brady, when I first started announcing NASRA, I used to butcher the hell out of Meg Ronigal's name. It was... Oh. Here come more on the pit road. Here comes Barnett, Blanchard, Carey Tribune, Parsons, all peeling in. You know, Brady, I think you were exactly right. That driver mentality settles in for you. You knew that they were probably going to pit before halfway because they're trying to go to the distance of the race. Reeves, now the new leader. Brian Chu follows. Jacob Reeves, Brian Chu. Got Rogers right there in tow, followed by Aiden Kirk. And all of this going on now as they work their way back out of turn 4, halfway home now. 25 down and 25 to go. We got green flag pit stops going on. Let's step away real quickly because we need to make an adjustment on the broadcast so you can be able to see the instant replays and all the other cool gadgets and features that Cody Dodd has in store. If something goes wrong, we'll break in. Right now, green flag pit stops are ongoing. We're back from Daytona, part of NASRA Speed Weeks and the king of the duels of Daytona. We're back in a moment. For the Northwest Click It RV series, everybody's car. Welcome back to Daytona, just after halfway. Thank you to Butt Kicker for all that they do, providing action towards the NASRA racing partners. Brady LaBeouf is here. I'm Wesley Outland. Cody Dodd on production, and right now settle in for the final 20 laps here because, honestly, Brady, don't touch your dial. Keep watching football. Keep watching iRacing here for NASRA because it's about to get good at the Virtual World Center of Racing, I believe.
Absolutely. You know, we got two different things going on right here. We've got Jacob Reeves, Brian Chu, Curtis Rogers, Aiden Kirk, Torrey Thompson, Huck Wigginton, Brandon Bullock have not pitted yet. Rhett Tucker, Andrew McGonigal, Tony Pakenica, and Steve Barnett, Chris Blanchard, Kerry Tribute, Hunter Porsons all have pitted, and they are 30 seconds behind this pack, but they are a second faster than this first pack. So if I was Jacob Reeves, I would be telling Brian Chu, like, hey, let's pit now. Let's pit.
Yeah, you're going to have to pit. I think they might possibly also be playing possum as they're coming to 20 laps to go, thinking that there might be a caution to come out here. By the way, one yellow flag back on lap number 15. Last week in the duels, we went all the way to lap 43, and then we had two cautions back-to-back, which set up one overtime finish. And now, working through the tri-oval, here comes Rhett Tucker, winner, by the way, last Thursday night. Right now, better improving position would be he started third. And honestly, I'll be honest here, I think it's a good idea that Rhett Tucker's running this race, Brady, because it's basically seat time for him. It's preparing for the big race next week.
Yeah, and like he reached out to me today, you know, hey, well, I'm starting third, right? Yeah, you're starting third, but you know, come make some laps and you know, put on a good show for the folks at home.
Working this time by to the start-finish line. 30 laps in, 20 laps to go here in Daytona for the duels. Jacob Reeves, there's the leader. Tucker is 8th. That's who we showed you over 30 seconds back. And here comes the leader on pit road. Crew drops down to pit lane. So does... No, correction, my apologies. Jacob Reeves comes down to pit lane. So does also Rogers, Thompson, Huck Wigginton. They're all coming in. Kirk and Chu and Bullock stay out there, Brady. I'm wondering if they miscommunicated and made a mistake there.
Yeah, well, I think they almost feel like they might be able to make it. So we'll have to keep an eye on it.
The Fanatec Chevrolet. Correction, I'm sorry, it's a Ford. The Fanatec Ford, number 47 from Houston, Texas. Kirk Motorsports, all in one Auto Works entry. Aiden Kirk. Now your new leader. 19 to go. Toyota, Brian Chu follows right there in tow. Along with Bullock, the 17 machine from Macon, Missouri, from the Show Me State. And they're right there in tow, 1, 2, and 3 on the racetrack. And everyone's single file right now, Brady. 26 seconds to Rhett Tucker in fourth.
Yeah, and Aiden Kirk and Brian Chu and Brandon Bullock, that is, came on the radio, and they believed that because they were running behind the original pack before the green flag pit stops, is that they can make it. So they must have been, saving and I mean, kudos to them for doing that if they were, and they feel like they can make it. So it looks like it's going to be a 3-horse race, unless this second pack, Rhett Tucker leading it, can make up 25 seconds. I'm not sure it will take more than a second a lap to get there, but it's definitely, it was weird how that caution kind of came out, right? Because it was kind of like on the verge of the pit window or whatnot, and nobody topped off, Wesley, and I thought we would see guys come and top off, and they didn't.
Right. Yeah, no topping off and ready to go to the finish here. Well, hopefully this race will be finished before the end of halftime because the football game's halftime right now. Kirk, the leader. Aiden Kirk. And Brady, you mentioned about recruitment. This is one of those things. This is a new driver that we really don't know very well from Houston, Texas. And this is a guy that we've extended and said, hey, come join us, be a part of NASRA, run this special event, and hopefully you might find a place here somewhere with the series.
Absolutely. Hopefully, the goal is to have 30 guys in each duel. We want guys to qualify. We want 60 guys plus to qualify and, have 30 guys show up and run these dual races. And then, hey, we're only taking half of you, to run in the main event. So hopefully we can get to that point one day. And it'd be great to see, great to follow. A lot of storylines behind that.
Through the tribal, 16 laps to go. And right now, Texas, Aiden Kirk leading. Brian Chu from Fort Myers, Florida, right there in second. Bullock from Missouri in third. 1, 2, and 3, single file. Hugging the double yellow line down the backstretch now. And by the way, Rhett Tucker, Meg Ronigal, all of those drivers over 20 seconds back. And it's not growing between those top three.
Well, to be fair, Rhett has Andrew, Tony, Steve, about 5, 7, 8 drivers. It looks like 7 drivers in that pack versus 3. So the 7 drivers are going to go faster than the top 3 right here. But I can tell you what's promising for these 3 is that Rhett and them in that second pack was only 5/10 faster that lap. So it's going to take more than 5/10 a lap to catch these 3 guys. But as you see, Brian Chu's going to the lead and Aiden Kirk's going to third place. This is so Aiden could save so he can actually make it to the end. So this is all orchestrated between these 3 guys working together.
Up the banking. Back into turn number 1 and 2 here at Daytona. And Brian Chu now gets around Kirk for the lead there, Brady.
Yeah, and it looks like they only Rhett and those guys only gained 4/10 even with that exchange right there. We'll get another time right here, but if they're not even putting a second on these 3 guys right here, they're not going to catch them in 14 laps, Wesley.
I don't see it happening. 14 to go. Back into 1 and 2 now. Back stretch. Brian Chu, leader. Right now. Inside. Hey, listen, Brian Chu would love to win a race, even if it's a preliminary, Brady, and even Brandon Bullock. He's hungry too. Hasn't won in a while.
Absolutely. Brandon, I believe his last win was at Auto Club on Friday night last season for that,
That's
which
right.
is now known as the Cops Truck Series that concerns of police survivors. So, yeah, I know him. And Brian Chu's due. Guy's been racing with us since season 1 on the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. He's been there. He's been close. I want to say he's finished second a couple of times. It's almost like any race now. Brian Chu's going to come to victory lane.
To the line, here they come to the stripe. It'll be now 13 to go. There's that second pack behind the top 3, led by Rhett Tucker. Originally from Memphis, Tennessee, in the Viral 99 for RTR Esports, the Mauer Bite sponsor machine, now from Newport Richey, Florida. He is in 4th. Winner of, by the way, Duel 1 last Thursday night. How entertaining and crazy that was for Michael and myself to call. Michael McKinnon. Brady LaBeouf joining us tonight. All culminates for next week. It'll be a green flag. 9 o'clock. We're on the air. Field will grid. The race will be set. They'll get like am I right, Brady, with 12 to go? They might get like a 30-minute practice session, if that. One more final shakedown, and then go for 100 laps.
Absolutely. Next week, the grid will be set again, so there won't be qualifying. They'll have an hour and a half practice, and then they're going to go 100 laps, 250 miles around this Daytona Speedway. And so, yeah, we're excited about it. I can't wait to see everybody show up and get here.
It'll be an exciting one. We're looking forward to bringing it to you next Thursday night. I know I'll be doing a football broadcast in Fuquay Arena, and as soon as I finish, I'm packing up and hightailing it to the studio to be ready to go for airtime at 9. And right now, Brian Chu is trying to lock up that 4th position outside row 2. Remember, qualifying, just like the real Daytona 500, locks in the front row. We done that 3 weeks ago. And now this is the final preliminary. Brian Chu up high. Here comes Bullock to the inside. 3 wide. Chu might have a problem. He gets back in line. Aiden Kirk will go back to the lead. Wow.
Yeah, it's I tell you what, last week we had this where they ran, 40 plus laps. We had that one caution, and then they all went for it, right? 3 wide, trying to finish the race, and until we had Rhett Tucker victorious, and then it turned into a fuel mileage race this week. And Aiden Kirk and Brandon Bullock and Brian Chu's all trying to figure out who needs to lead the pack and whatnot. And I mean, look, they're still doing this, and they're still 17.273 seconds ahead of the group. Now 15 seconds. So, they're still within their window to still beat that second pack to the start-finish line with 10 laps to go.
Now 40 laps in, 10 to go. The home stretch we roll here at Daytona. In the duel right now, Kirk is the leader. Bullock will follow. All of this happening after turn 4. Got Chu in tow. By the way, Rhett Tucker, his pack right there. 6, 7, 8 trucks in line. Tucker, McGonigal, Placinia, Barnett, and Blanchard, and Tribune, and Parsons. That's all of them. From 4th to 10th, they are now. Well, let's see, Brady. I guess they're 15 seconds closing in, but still, they're still behind though. Still behind.
14.135 is what Rhett Tucker's behind these 3 right here. So
still behind. Got to pick her up for sure. Ready to roll here in the payout window. Kirk, there he is. By the way, Brady, if I'm trying to remember, didn't Aiden Kirk run last Thursday night? But I think he finished in the top 5. So this would be an improvement.
He finished second.
Okay, so yeah. If you improve your position, then he would start. He'll start 4th instead of 6th.
Correct.
Or 5th. I'm sorry, because he was in the inside row, so he would start 4th instead of 5th.
Correct. 4th.
There you go. Burke, Bullock, Chew. There's that second pack. I'm thinking 8 to go. We're in single digits now. I got a feeling something's going to go wrong here, Brady. I just think somebody's going to slip. If there's a caution, it's going to happen somewhere there with that pack.
Well, it's I feel like Brandon Bullock right here is in the catbird seat, but you just never know with these, and I hope I don't give him the commentator's curse right here by saying that, but I just feel like it's Brandon Bullock's race to lose right here.
And they just started the third quarter. Kansas City 14, Detroit 7. Football firing back up again this weekend for the NFL. Obviously college last weekend.
And now this second pack back here, Wesley, is side by side, so they know that they're not going to catch these top 3 guys.
And this is what I'm worried about, honestly. I told you that, Brady, a moment ago. I got a feeling a storm is brewing here. You might have teammates, but somebody's going to slip. Somebody's going to get greedy and want one more spot more than the other guy. And I got a feeling if there's going to be any chaos, it's going to happen right here in this pack. 6 laps to go, by the way. Oh, keep an eye on that. I know Cody Knott's watching that. And big props to Cody Knott there, Brady. He's got, 3-4 packs of traffic he's trying to keep up with all at one time around this track.
Yeah, and then another thing, Wesley, is that we really can't see is that Aiden Kirk, this front little 3-court getaway right here, is actually catching that third pack of Jacob Reeves, Huck Wigginton, Torrey Thompson, Curtis Rogers. So if they can get a draft off of those guys, then that second pack's really not even going to catch them.
Back up the banking, 5 laps to go, 20 miles remain. Oh, boy, I'm sorry, 10 miles, my bad. When they come to the line, here you go. Take your pick. I'm watching that pack. I'm watching it, but right now, all in favor for the man up in front. Closing in on 2.5 miles, 5 laps to go, 12 miles remaining here in this race. And I'm telling you, right there's that storm brewing there, Brady, and I'm just watching them get loose. And there it goes. I knew it was going to happen. Barnett's in the fence. Tucker is crashed. Blanchard, Monday night winner, in trouble. Parsons on the bottom of the apron. Yellow flag is out. That pack, I told you, 3 to go. Caution, and we're going to go to overtime. Brady, did I call it? I told you I had a feeling it was going to happen.
Absolutely. That second pack, just getting a little too close on the side drive.
Getting too antsy. You said that they're starting to race amongst themselves, and Blanchard right rear hooks in the firewall deep. The number 99, Rhett Tucker. There's a push there by Tribune. Kerry Tribune, maybe a bump go wrong in the air, gets in to Blanchard. Blanchard into Tucker. Oh, boy. Barnett, did he get away from it? I think he did. Everybody else here crashed. No, he did. Well, yeah, he did, but he didn't. Sorry. Whoa, Meg Ronigal puts himself in the wall, just trying to avoid missing that wreck there, Brady.
Yeah, a lot of things going on with that one.
Caution out, and we now settle in for overtime. Shades of what we saw last week, and honestly, Brady, do you pit? Do you pit now? Does everybody pit, or is position important right now for track position to go to the finish of this race?
If I was going to make it, I would say that I could save right here. It'd be hard for me to pit right now, Wesley. And I mean, all that's going to do is bring, Jacob Reeves and all these other guys that were in that third pack back up to par. So, man, it'd be hard to pit right here.
Ooh. Well, we see everybody behind the top 5 coming down to the pit lane, and now Chew, McGronigal, Placenica, or Placenica. There you go, Placenica.
Placenica.
Oh, I'm butchering it. I'm sorry. Placenica. Placenica is on 3rd, followed by Reeves, Placenica. And then we got Rogers, Kirk, Bullock, Wigington, Thompson, and Trabue, your top 10. Everyone else that got caught up in that accident on pit road. And Brady, by the way, let our audience know there's no damage repairs either. There's no fast repair.
Absolutely, no fast repairs. So if you get damage, it's required damage or optional damage, and you're down RPMs. That's you have what you have.
Keep an eye on this now. So 3 laps to go. We're going to overtime. And don't forget, next Thursday night, it all culminates, this NASRA Speed Weeks event for 250 miles, 100 laps, next Thursday. Who will be the inaugural King of Daytona? Coverage begins at 9 p.m. Eastern Time next Thursday on the NASRA 360 Racing Network. You better strap in. It should be a fun over 2 hours of entertainment. Well, Brady, we're going to overtime 2 weeks in a row in the duels.
Absolutely, it looks like it's going to be a green-white checkered, so we get 3 attempts at this, and hopefully we can make it on the first attempt.
Well, we did last Monday, or we did last Thursday night when Rhett Tucker won. Blanchard, Monday night winner here at Daytona on pit road, still damaged. What a heartbreak for him. It's Blanchard's on the pit lane. Drivers on the damage clock, trying to take time to finish or get service done. All right, so here's the deal. If you're new to NASRA, they're getting ready to come to green. If they take the white flag, then they're going to race back to checker. And we saw Monday night where they crashed and still had the leaders fighting for the win. So if they take that white flag, excuse me, they're going to go back to the checkered flag. Now, if we get a caution before the end of the race and before they take the white, we re-rack them, restack them, go a second time, go a third time. We get a caution before the third attempt and take the white flag. Just like NASCAR, we go to video and point of caution, and field's frozen, race is finished. Brady, what do you think as we get ready for a restart? Does Brian Chew got this one in the bag? We're noticing him drive to the bottom of the apron of the racetrack, and that's all just to try to conserve fuel.
I don't know if anybody. I've been in this situation plenty of times. You never know with these things. Man, we'll just have to wait and see as we're about to go back green, Wesley.
We are. Time to settle it here. Overtime. Number 1, back of the Geico restart zone. Field is bobbing and weaving. Spinning tires. Trying to get up to speed. Pulling away is Brian Chew. But don't pull away too far. Meg Ronigal hooks up with Reeves, and they're in turn 1. Off of 2. Reeves hooks up with Meg Ronigal now. Maybe he finds more speed on the back straightaway, Brady, and they're coming to speed, going to 3. Oh, Meg Ronigal now to the lead. Reeves now up high. Jacob Reeves up high. 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 3. Anybody can win this race. They're getting loose. Hold on to a truck on the bottom. And they're coming to the white flag. This is it. 1 to go, Brady. Final time around.
Absolutely. And Jacob's to the point right there. He's got Aiden Kirk and Rhett Tucker behind him. Man, he's in a great position. But at the bottom, you'll see Andrew kind of come back with Brian Chew. And, Rhett's going to go to the bottom. That's a great move. And we'll see if Jacob and Aiden Kirk can make some headway down the back straightaway.
Next flag ends the race, and it'll be the checkered flag. But meanwhile, Meg Ronigal under attack. Here comes Red Tucker out of nowhere, powering back to the second spot. Brian Chu up high. Reeves will follow. In the middle, Kirk, and we got him wrecking in the wall again. Thompson's wrecking. Reeves is wrecking. Parsons is wrecking. Here comes Meg Ronigal to the line. He'll win in Daytona for Duel 2. Andrew Meg Ronigal. He was in the fence a moment ago with 3 remaining, crashing into the safer barrier. And Brady LaBeouf, he found a way to weasel through the pack and win here in Duel 2 over Rhett Tucker and, of course, Curtis Rogers. He's got to be happy. That'll be the 8th starting position for him in the big race next Thursday night.
Absolutely. A great finish, too.
Andrew Meg Ronigal gets it done. Let's look at the results presented by NASRA here tonight for the NASRA Duel 2 at Daytona. Andrew Meg Ronigal, he is your winner. Rhett Tucker second, Curtis Rogers third. Now remember, do the math. Front row locked in from qualifying 3 weeks ago, okay, or 2 weeks ago. So you have now 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, and 22. Now, those are your positions for the race in the top 10, as you just saw those names on the ticker. And Andrew Meg Ronigal, Brady, is going to celebrate. Can we see one more lap at it? A finish of this race presented by Poles Poppers Fishing Lures. And Brady, take us to what? Take us to this last lap. What did Andrew Meg Ronigal do right?
Oh, well, he established himself. He was at the right place at the right time, Wesley. He had, as we see, the big wreck right there, the pile up.
Yep.
But no, I mean, he had a teammate, Red Tucker, right there, stuck to his bumper. He had Jacob Reeves that pushed him there. And it's always a good feeling whenever you see them wrecking like that coming off of turn 4 and you got a teammate behind you.
Red Tucker and Andrew Meg Ronigal, teammates right there with one another. And Rhett Tucker pushed his way for Meg Ronigal to have another one of those RTR Esports machines to take the victory. So don't go anywhere. There's a look at, again, the top 10. Meg Ronigal, Tucker, Rogers, Chu, Tribute, your top 5. Thompson, Bullock, Barnett, Kirk, and Reeves. Rest of the rundown, we'll find Wigington, Plastanica, followed by, of course, Parsons, Blanchard, White, and, of course, that's the rundown of the trucks. So, hey, coming up, we will grab the top 3 if they're available.
Yeah,
in
we
the
got him right
waiting
here
room.
in the booth, Wesley. So we'll jump in and
There you
grab
go.
Curtis Rogers, your 3rd place finisher. Curtis, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, talk to us a little bit about the race. It looked like you were in the 3rd pack, I believe, and then the caution came out. You got to re-rack them and do a green-white checkered, and you found yourself finishing 3rd right there.
Yeah, we were in the 3rd pack, and we weren't making up any ground at all. So we were definitely lucky to get that caution, and then pretty much knew it was go time from there.
I got you. Well, what is it that did you feel like the fuel strategy played a part in putting yourself in that 3rd pack? Were you trying to run it dry? Did you feel like you didn't have enough fuel to make it all the way, or kind of put us through that whole sequence of whenever that caution came out in the middle part of the race? Did you feel like you could use the draft to kind of save like Brandon Bullock and Brian Chu and Aiden Kirk and those guys were doing?
Well, I definitely didn't have enough fuel, and when we had pitted in the middle of the race, um, I thought more people were coming, and that's how I kind of ended up in that 3rd group with 4 of us. But I thought more guys were coming. I kind of thought it would work out more in our favor, but it didn't. But like I said, luckily that caution came out.
Hey, Curtis. Curtis, I'll tell you what, man. I know that the opportunity Olive Branch was extended to you after the remnants of Hurricane, Aladanya going in there and doing what it did, obviously, last week in the Florida area. But what's your take of at least having yourself a pretty good starting spot for the race? I think you're starting, 8th. No,
Yeah.
10th. You're starting 10th.
Yeah, that'll be good. Happy to be up there at least. Hopefully avoid all the wrecks and all that stuff, but we'll see. You never know what happens on these super speedways. They're, give or take. So we'll see.
Well, thank you, Curtis. We appreciate you coming out tonight. We look forward to watching you race in that King of Daytona race next Thursday night.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys very much.
That's Florida's Curtis Rogers. As Brady just wrapped it up with him, of course, from Citrus Springs, Florida. The 979 racing entry for Papa's Willie Bar and Grill, finishing in the number 3 spot. And now we're going to the runner-up of the race, Rhett Tucker. And Brady, he is the winner of Duel 1 last Thursday night. And he pushes his teammate, Meg Ronigal, to the win in Duel number 2. Teammates on row 2. Rhett, I know you got to be happy for that for next Thursday.
I'm pumped, dude. That was I couldn't have really asked for a better finish after getting wrecked with like 3 to go. But hell of a job to Andy. Glad he came out tonight, and yeah, that was. Hopefully, we made a little bit of excitement for people watching.
What went wrong with that big pack of traffic and you're 15 seconds behind the leader when Brian Chu was up in front? What can you attest to what just happened when you guys wrecked?
I haven't seen the replay or anything, but I'm pretty sure the 9 just hooked the right rear. I don't know if they were like, we need a caution or what, but last week it was his teammate, so I don't know. I guess there's some kind of rivalry going on.
Final question. I'll let Brady ask a couple of questions for you. Was your strategy tonight to try to help some teammates get into the race and have a good starting position? Was
Absolutely.
that what it was about?
100%.
Well, Rhett, as we noticed, 2 different dual races. Last week was running 40+ laps, and then the caution at the end before the build up before the green white checkered, and then we see a fuel mileage race kind of turn into for the second duel. How did the sequence of where that caution fell tonight with the fuel? I believe y'all can go about 32, 33 laps. Did you guys kind of rethink? When y'all saw Brandon Bullock and Aiden Kirk and Brian Chu and those guys stay out, because I don't believe y'all were going to catch them, especially when y'all got side by side. That is with Highline Racing and Rhett Tucker Esports back there. But did y'all kind of rethink maybe pitting was the wrong move, or did y'all feel like y'all had to pit?
A couple of us definitely had to pit. Andy was good. He was going to make it. But Tony and I, we weren't going to make it. And so we figured we run about 5 laps, come in, top off, and then we were good. And, if we ran together, we probably would have ran them down. I don't know if all of them were going to make it. I know Brian was stressing. He was saying, he was 1 lap to the good. So I was kind of hopeful that, maybe they'd be slacking off enough so we could catch them. But once we went double file, I was really surprised that we didn't lose any speed, So that was a surprise. I was fine with racing for 3rd, but Blanchard wasn't.
I got
Rhett,
you. Well, go ahead.
Brett, I got to ask you one more question, bud. What do you think we're going to see next Thursday night? You've done this a long time.
Well, I think it's going to be a lot of strategy, man. It seems like it's getting kind of clicky. There's teams. So I feel like there's going to be a few different strategies. A couple people trying different things, try to get a jump ahead of the rest of the pack. But my only goal is keeping my nose clean.
Well, thank you, Rhett. Thank you for coming out again tonight, and we will see you next week for the King of Daytona race.
Thank you, guys. Glad to be here. Thank you for doing everything. Thank you everybody watching. Thank you Viral, Mauer Bites, and Blue Grace.
Remember,
TP Pools.
Brady. And remember, Brady, he'll start third. He'll start third. His strategy tonight. And that's why I said, well, why is he running this race? And obviously, it would have been a good idea to have it for a practice session. But it was to help teammates. And that's exactly what he did. Andrew McGronigal. Let's go to victory lane. The 94, Andrew McGronigal for RTR Esports. Rhett Tucker gave you the push. That's why he was there. The 94. You're in victory lane. You will start fourth in the duel after duel 2, winning. And of course, the Kings of Daytona. You got a pretty good starting spot next Thursday night. Congrats, buddy.
Thank you, Wesley, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you for hosting, Brady. Thank you for the league, man. It's great to be back.
Well, Rhett Tucker point blank said, I wanted to help teammates, and I guess you were the one.
Yeah, I saw him look right, and I was like, oh, do I fade right now and leave whoever was behind me? Then Duck, he faded right, and Rhett just keyed on the radio and said, I got you. And I just, pulled back down the yellow line, and, it was over from there. The two guys racing on the outside got side by side for some reason on the white flag lap, and the bottom up tends to prevail when that happens.
Brady LaBeouf.
Yeah, Andrew, welcome back to NASRA, man. It's a good way to come back and be 1-for-1 on your return. Tell us, Rhett was talking about, you were probably good on fuel, but him and Tony wasn't. Whenever you are racing with teammates, and I know it's a big debate, how well you want to work together. Now, we did see the caution come out that kind of re-racked the fuel, but if you were able to make it on the fuel and the race would have played out with, Brandon, Aiden, and Brian finishing 1, 2, 3, would you have maybe rethink maybe pitting with your teammates instead of staying out and racing with those guys for the win?
No, probably not. I think regardless of how that shakes out, we run fourth, right? So those three, I believe, may know each other. If not, it would have been difficult to do that on your own, especially if there's one of two teammates up there. And to be honest, if a 3-truck group would have pitted and the pack stays out, that 3-truck group catches and you bank on a caution. So the reason for pitting was we would have been good for green, white, checkered. No matter what, it just sucks that some of our trucks were involved in that melee. It looks like maybe Netcode or the guy on the top second in line came down on Rhett and hooked him right and took out the field. But there's something about 3 trucks running faster than a pack, and had that other group not pitted the next lap and covered, our group catches that pack before the white flag comes out.
I got you. And what are you looking forward to next week whenever you go 100 miles and 100 laps instead of 50 laps?
I don't know. I don't put that much thought into this stuff. We usually run 3 laps in practice and then kind of figure out what fuel's there from that. So probably won't be a strategy thought of until honestly the green flag comes out.
Andrew, how frustrating or nervous were you whenever you bonsai'd off the safer barrier to get caught up in the accident and then try to avoid what other chaos was happening to everybody else around you in that pack?
Yeah, I don't know if you're referring to the earlier incident or not. I did, somehow I had 0 damage, so I don't know if iRacing read that as netcode or not. There was no damage to be fixed, so I got real lucky there.
Definitely.
Guy ran up the racetrack 30 feet, so figured I'd try to run him down the apron 30 feet, and he didn't budge. So stuff happens, but that's part of racing.
Andrew McGronigal, again, winner here in Duel 2. Final question. Segue this with your sponsors. What do you think it's going to be like being 4th place and having your teammate Rhett Tucker alongside of you next Thursday night?
Yeah, got to thank Blue Grace Logistics. My wife told me to correct you guys. It's McGronigal, not McGronigal. So we'll get that right.
Okay, McGronigal.
Next week will be last race for a while. Our son's due on the 22nd. So next Friday is my last free Friday for a long, long time. And Rhett just told me that one of our teammates actually has the pole for the race as well. So 3 in the top 4 to start the race isn't bad.
Well, I will tell you this, Meg Ronigal is a lot better than what I used to call you for sure, so I'm definitely getting better.
Yes, sir, Wesley. Man, I've probably been called everything under the sun.
Oh.
So,
Hey, congratulations, McGronigal. We'll see you next Thursday night here at Daytona, bud.
yes. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. See you guys next Thursday.
Andrew McGronigal, Duel 2 winner here tonight at Daytona. Brady LaBeouf, your final take of tonight's race, buddy. And now we strap in for the big show, the King of Daytona inaugural race. Next Thursday night, all we have left to do is run the big one, 250 miles, 100 laps in the virtual World Center of Racing.
Absolutely. Well, in these past, this week and last week, these dual races, we've seen a little bit of everything, Wesley. We've seen long green flag racing. We've had some cautions in the middle. We've seen fuel mileage. We've seen green white checkers. So it's only a buildup for what's to come next week, as they're going to go 250 miles around this racetrack, 100 laps that is, and we're going to see, like you said, teammates working with teammates, and we're going to see, who's going to be, greedy and want to get that victory and be the first
That's
King
right.
of Daytona for NASRA.
Well, we got a hell of a football game going on right now as well. Midway through the third, tied at 14 all. We're going to go back to watching that. As always, follow us at NASRA Racing on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. For everybody at NASRA and the NASRA 360 Racing Network with Brady LaBeouf, Cody Knott, TJ Moore, all of the great staff. This is Wesley Outland. Thanks for joining us. Congratulations to Andrew McGronigal. He is the winner tonight in the duels at Daytona. The field is set for the inaugural King of Daytona next Thursday night. Don't forget about the NASRA Cup Series on Friday. We've got the playoffs at Charlotte Monday. And, of course, playoffs, these races, all available at NASRA Racing on social media, on YouTube and Facebook for the replay once we go live off the air. Good evening, and again, strap in for the big show next Thursday night from Daytona.